Also, feel free to walk around and take pictures. I know it is a little bit crowded in here, but believe it or not, we fit around 5 to 10 more people. Starting on the right here and winding under us is going to be the service road that they used to build the first tower back in the 60s. It gives you a good idea of erosion rates since they used to use heavy vehicles and equipment on there. Now a hiking trail to get up to Tower 1, which stands at just under 250 feet tall and leans at an 18-degree angle towards Albuquerque. It's built that way to hold tension on the cable and allows to clear this whole valley. That or the tower's been sinking, and that's just what they say. Either way, the tram is going to swing and sway a little bit as we pass over the tower, so make sure you're holding on to something or someone and drag them down with you.
Yeah. Whoa, this shaking a little. It's like roller coaster.
It is a little bit difficult to get a frame of reference from the site. We like to point out some of the rock trams here to give you a good idea. So if you turn your heads to the right at the hill over there with the giant rock on top that looks like it's about to roll off into the city. That's called golf ball rock because it looks like a teed up golf ball, and that's 2 times the size of this tram for scale.
Wow, that's crazy.
Another one we like
Does
to
look
use
like a
to our left
baby, like
behind us at this over here.
just like sitting there.
Dirt eroded away over time, exposing them, and it sort of looks like a cannon pouring towards the mountain. We call that one a cannon rock. And that is the same size as this tram. And last but not least, if you look ahead of us and to our right, you'll see this giant flat up-facing rock that sort of looks like it's just balancing there on the hill. You see what looks like a fin there on the side and a little mouth in the front. We call that one fish rock or 3-story dory because it's just under 3 stories tall. The tram itself was envisioned by Robert Nordhaus back in the 60s after traveling to the Swiss Alps. He ended up hiring a Swiss company, Bell Engineering, to come out here and design and construct the tram. It took only 2 years to construct between 1964 and 1966. Him and his partner Ben Abruzzo funded the whole project, which cost about $2 million. In today's currency, that is almost $19 million.
Has it been updated since the 60s?
Certainly has, yes.
Thank you.
Third generation tram car, and I believe this is the third.
This looks pretty modern.
Say that
I
again?
believe this is the 3rd generation tram car and the 3rd set of cables as well.
These people work on these towers over here. They got to fly up there in a helicopter.
No, there's actually a paved public road that goes to the top.
Yeah.
So if you do keep an eye out, we do get a variety of wildlife around here that like to leave their tracks and roam around. We get mule deer, bobcats, black bears, mountain lions, and other small mammals. We do not get goats though. People often ask about that.
Are there snakes here?
Sorry?
Snakes.
Snakes? So at the base of the mountain is where there's going to be the majority of snakes. We kill a lot of snakes. A lot of rattlesnakes as well.
I thought bobcat was the same as mountain lion. No?
So those of you in the front should be able to make out the second tower pretty well by now. It's roughly 1/3 the height of the first tower and a little over 8,000 feet in elevation. You may also notice that there's no more roads or service trails leading up to the second tower. That is because all the materials to construct it were actually hiked in by hand. Sorry for those of you that just believe me, they actually used helicopters. It took 2,000 helicopter trips overall from Tower 2. 5,000 to construct the entire tram, including all its cables. We're going to be slowing down here in just a moment so that we can safely pass over Tower 2.
shaky again.
So if you keep your eye to the right, you'll eventually see this windsock here on the hill. A little uphill from that, where the hill levels off, is where they landed the helicopters, and then they moved all the material across this little bridge to where the tower is now. Again, there is going to be some swing and sway as you pass over, so make sure you're hanging on to something. It's nothing to worry about unless I'm dead. Alright, that's the last tower. That was definitely a good
It's
time
not
to
as
find
bad
out
as the
the
first
points. Our sister tram car is going to be passing us here on the left. As soon as we cross paths with them, that'll mark the exact halfway point of the trip. And that's due to the fact that we're connected to the same cables. So the trams always meet here and they never get any closer. It's a little bit sad.
No, it's not.
As they pass by us, it is legally required that you wave at them.
There's nobody in
We didn't take a picture.
I did take note of those of you that didn't wave. We're going to be slowed down here while the other tram now passes over Tower 2. As we slow down, this is going to mark the highest point above ground during the entire trip. You could roughly fit the Eiffel Tower directly under us. It's just under 1,000 feet. We're about 7.8 seconds if you're curious.
It's like a ground.
That was also probably a good time to point out that this is the longest span of unsupported cable in the Western Hemisphere. Just let that sink in for a minute. All that really means is that between a given span of cable, there are no towers in between. So between the second tower all the way to the top of the mountain is 1.5 miles of free span. The total length of the tram is 2.7 miles. The official name of this canyon we just passed over is called Big Canyon. It took them a long time to come up with, but that is what they ended up landing on this mountain face to our left, we get a lot of free climbers in the spring and summer. Often
Wow.
stops people that try to take their pictures, so for that reason we call it Ego Point. If you're an adrenaline junkie and want to get famous in the local area, that's the way to do it. They actually do climb most of these little outcroppings that you'll see between these major valleys. This next canyon that we're going to be passing over in just a moment is called Echo Canyon. It does have a year-round stream that flows through it from a spring, although it'll be pretty difficult to make out through the vegetation, and some of it also does go underground. But for scale, some of the trees in Echo Canyon are well over 100 feet tall. These are actually some of the tallest trees you'll see amongst the mountains, since New Mexico's been in a drought for quite some time. You can even look just to the left of Echo Canyon and see how much shorter the trees are and how many more dead trees there are. This is also where you would spot a good amount of wildlife if they were out this morning. Also keep an eye on the cables. We get red-tailed hawks that have learned to ride them up and down the mountain and hunt around this area. That middle cable is the one that moves along with the tram. That's the one that hawks like to land on. If you keep your eye on it, it looks like it doesn't move at all. It's generally in the mornings and evenings when they do that, so definitely keep an eye on it. Most of the rock that you see on this side of the mountain is granite, and everything is topped off with limestone at the very peak. You may notice that the granite on this side has a little bit of a red hue to it. That's because of a mineral embedded in the granite called feldspar. And during sunset, it does glow red, and with that vegetation on top, it sort of looks like a slice of a watermelon, which is one of the running theories behind why the Sandia Mountains get their name. When the Spaniards were traveling through here in the 1400s, they must have seen it during sunset, thought it looked like a watermelon slice, and named it the Sandia Mountains, meaning watermelon in Spanish. So if you are around in Albuquerque during sunset, you should definitely give it a good look. This last canyon that we're going to pass over is called the Domingo Baca Canyon. And if you follow it to our north of us, all the way to the highest point that you can see there on the mountaintop, you should be able to make out a small stone house that was constructed at the top. It is the highest possible point directly to our left. It's where the mountain meets the sky, so if there's no sky behind whatever you're looking at, that's not it.
Is that over there?
It's called Kiwanis Cabin. It was built back in the 30s by the Civil Conservation Corps, or the CCC. They stayed there when developing a lot of the national forest trails on the mountain, namely the La Luce Trail, going from the bottom of the mountain to the top. The trail itself is a little over 8 miles, and they do hold a race for the La Luce Trail every single year, and someone's able to do it in under an hour every single time. If you think you can scale this mountain up to that cabin in less than an hour, you should definitely give it a shot. Otherwise, it takes a normal person 6 to 8 hours to complete it. The cabin itself was actually constructed 3 times. The first time was out of wood, and it basically blew off the mountain from record-breaking winds. The second time was out of wood again, and it got struck by lightning and lit on fire. And the third time they decided to build it out of limestone, and it's lasted ever since. If you did want to hike there, today is actually a really good day to do it. It's only about a 40-minute hike from where we land. It also marks a good midpoint between here and the actual crest of the mountain, where the radio towers are that you can see from the city. There's a paved road running around the back of the mountain that takes you there. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think it is.
Those of you in the front should be able to make out the upper terminal and 10-3, the restaurant, pretty well by now. The upper terminal is the building with the giant red wheels. It's pretty hard to miss. Whenever you are ready to go back down the mountain, you can make your way into the upper terminal, and they'll scan your ticket and hopefully let you back down on the next tram. The trams come and go every 30 to 45 minutes, and the last one down is around 9:30 p.m., so you definitely don't want to miss that one. The restaurant is that building there on the left with the huge windows. They should be open by 11 o'clock for those who plan on eating there. Directly in front of the restaurant is also where the viewing deck is, which points out a lot of local landmarks in the area, so that is definitely worth checking out as well. To get there, you just follow the red deck toward left or to the north of us again once we land. Both the ramp and the stairs lead to the front of 10-3. You can also follow the stairs all the way back, either around the back of 10-3 to the hiking entrances headed north, or down to the ski area if you wanted to check that out as well. You can see about 14% of New Mexico from the top here, so definitely a brother view.
14%.
City fires going on right now, right here.
Not around here that I know of. I'm pretty sure most of this smoke is still coming in from Canada, but I'm not 100% sure on that. There's going to be a bump here at the top, so make sure you're ready for that as we get there. There's a little bit of a bump, and then there's going to be one more at the very top. Usually that one's a little bit more rough. If you do want a map for hiking, which again today is a great day to do that, we do have those in the upper terminal, as well as a lot more information on the mountain itself and the ecosystem around it, if you're curious. Again, there is going to be a bump here.